Nirvana Mata Part 2, a Helldivers 2 project, featuring Pandura, the radio angel, written by Lumenaught, narration created by the author. Chapter 1. At the curtain's end, I stand alone, lost again, bound by guilt and sin. Ouroboros deja vu? Old gold. I don't know how I came to this world called Heavenland. Was I born here? Logically, it would seem so, since half-elves like myself roam freely about this realm. Yet why do I doubt, and feel alien to this tropic paradise where it is almost never winter? Regardless, this is the beginning. This is where it starts. Let's start with not being naked. Rags from this ruined furniture will do for now. I shave my head to tend to my wound properly. I may look peasant poor, but it's better than crazy. Or one would hope attractively crazy. I awoke in the morn with blood upon my brow and a pain in my mind that was more than physical. Hit from behind. They stole my equipment, but they robbed me of my memories. This empty tome, and within a quill, were a few feet away. The inside cover speaks my name, while all other pages remain blank. Happy birthday, John. Love, E.A. Love? A sister? Wife? Close female companion? The person that did this to me? Or is John the one who preyed upon me and dropped this? Am I perhaps the one who attacked and was stealing these items? I wish I could remember. John. Is my name John? I discover along the cart wreckage a belted satchel and a purse knapsack. Sealed within, a knife, a key, a strange symbol, and a handkerchief that says Cyber Rock Cafe. Within the purse, I find about 15 silver. The bag is tied with the same ribbon as this tome's marker. A gift as well, then. I search the ruins of my broken and disregarded as worthless former life once again. It seems to be household goods and destroyed furniture. Nothing usable or even in one piece. The tracks show my arrival by a large bird of some type. My adversary wore boots and is lightweight. There is a light dragging over the tracks. My tracks are in wooden sandals. I discover their remains shortly after, suffering a similar fate. Cut in half. I note a light cut across both my palms. I used them as a shield to grab a hold of my adversary's sword. It hurts trying to remember. Following the fowl's tracks led me to the poor beast. Slain painlessly, at least, but slain nonetheless. The tracks show a chase, one with my pet in pursuit. This oversized yellow fowl bravely attempted to avenge me. Or did I ride it here and there are just no tracks back? Bird, even if we were not friends before, I will count you among those that loved me and never forget you. I keep the leather saddle, should I ever ride again. I have a tattoo on my back. I remember this is my clan symbol. The saddle bears my clan insignia upon it, same as this tome. Curious. My possessions' execution shows a degree of skill. They are cuts and not cleaves, yet the executioner ambushes me and runs from my mount? Curiouser. I deduce that my aggressor was one with a skillful blade, a preference for speed, yet lacking strength, and with a dragging cloth in their step. None of my possessions stolen, only my personal gear taken, and everything else ruined from combat. An assassin, thief, or perhaps some kind of sword master? I've come one step closer to finding them. I am going to find them. Tonight I write this with a bloody bandaged head, a stomach full of a once loyal friend, and a cremation pyre for a life and of an old life. This fire burns light. It brings light. A light that allows me to see my future. This light brings about new fire. One within. My future is vengeance. I sleep now under the shadow of stars. If they wish to judge me for my personal justice, I will ask them where they were to prevent my tragedy. I trust they will not interfere with my stride for the one responsible. Should a star come before me without truth, I will slay it for lying by omission. Rest takes my eyes now. Perhaps closed they will show me what I cannot while awake. I must remember. I will remember. I may see a dream, but I will make my desire a reality. End log, day 1. I awaken once again to no memory. The sun looks directly back at me. It's almost noon. I must have been more hurt than I thought. I instantly note that my wounds are fully healed. This is baffling. I check my face to see how many days' growth I have taken on, and find no more than expected. I next note the death around me. The grass and any other plant life around me has passed from this world. I look where I awoke yesterday and find the same, only on a grander scale. I feel an eerie truth about me yet undiscovered. Perhaps I was left for dead, or died and brought back. I find this thinking disturbing. I take only what I can carry and my clan logo. I note a bamboo staff cut in half into 2 escrimer sticks, each heavy with battle damage. Immediately after holding them, I remember how to use them. Staffs, sticks, spears, lances, and pole-orientated weapons. I feel this is my preferred choice of tool. I quickly fashion another bamboo quarterstaff from the nearby pond. I relearn quickly that I'm pretty good at throwing this pocket knife of mine. I notice something within the ashes of the spent pyre. A fire flower does not grow idly upon the land. This must have been hidden within one of my possessions used to cremate and cook my feathered friend. The heat must have awakened it. I remember my sister used to keep these with her, but not her name or her looks. Small steps, but steps. I conclude it was her that gave me these other 2 gifts. I feel a strange knowledge of the land, almost déjà vu, and not in the woodsman sense. I'm on the move. The road is before me. Now, left or right? End log, day 2. After turning right and following my prey's tracks, I travel the land to the nearest town. I can't help but know my way without a compass, road, nor map. I also know where tracks are without seeking them out, and though I feel no knowledge of the field and woods, I know them as if I am viewing them remotely in my mind. Have I been here before? Am I some ranger? Or is this just natural for an elf? Or a half elf? I think writing this log would be easier if this quill had an eraser. End log, day 6. I have found tracks of my booted bounty within the field. Even the stealthiest assassin must step underfoot at one point or another. They go toward the same town I traveled to, and this foot traveled about 2 days ahead. The step is slow and heavier than the previous. As well I note the feeling of light blood in the land. I see my prey didn't walk away unharmed, yet also travels without fear of reproach. They have already forgotten concern of me. For now we see through shadowed steps. Soon we shall see face to face. They will remember me soon enough. End log, day 9. I have arrived in a small town not even on the maps they sell here. I re-equip and get some straw sandals, wool pants, a black leather belt, water gourd, wool bracers, and a black headband. I buy a fireproof torch and combine it with a staff and fire flower to have a better lighted walking stick made. I trade what little I have and, to my shame, able to steal in the process. I search for memories of any familiarity. I come to a hotel that vibrates remembrance. I ask them to check for my name in their log history. They find it 15 days past, and I ask for the employee that tended to me that night. She remembers me, to my embarrassment. I flirted with her. She assumes I'm interested due to my return. I tell her my situation. She is less than understanding. What she knows about me is little, save that I was moving back to my old home in the swamp, and was a geomancer with a religiously spiritual childhood upbringing. Funny that for such a man of holiness, teaching, and wisdom, I am not the forgiving type. I asked if anyone asking about me after I passed this way. She said a pale man in a black coat did. I asked if he was short, and if the coat was to his feet. It was the same man, but for which species is unknown. I assume a full elf. He has a face scar, nothing more. To find my future, I must first know my past. I will travel to the nearest temple of Bela, in the northern town about 250 leagues from here, 7 to 8 days by foot. This traveling business was probably easier with that blasted bird to ride on. End log, day 12. Age of Bela, 22 Oxy, 15874. I attempt to barter a ride from a few tradesmen along the way. They are wise not to accept an opportunity to be robbed. Not by myself, of course. Perhaps in this manner is how I came to be in my new sandals, of which they remind me of a childhood I can't remember. This line of thought starts to mess with one's mind. For me, that may be more than one can handle. Questions and questions. There is a curiosity and a wonder, but also the powerlessness and frustration of being out of place, with no connection nor familiarity to anyone or thing. It makes one feel they don't belong anywhere. The only comfort is the cool flow of the spirit of Bella within the world, or maybe just her mana? Yet why do I feel her presence lessen than of the times past? Her will shall guide me through this ordeal, but my will shall conclude it. I wonder if I really believe in Bella, or play the part to re-become myself. How many parts must I play? If the game is afoot, then I shall begin the hunt. Enemy, I may track you like a dog, yet you shall die like one. End log, day 16, Age of Bella, 26 Oxy, 15, 874.